NEET 2025 is not what students expected. From tricky numericals to conceptual questions, this could decide hundreds of ranks this year. Welcome to Map My Tutor, I am Nimra. In this video, we will break down NEET physics questions word to word and I'll be explaining how you can prepare from today. Let's begin. Read the question carefully. Again, it's very easy and you all can do it. The question is, to an AC power supply of 220 volts at 50 Hz, a resistor, a capacitor and an inductor are connected in series. So let us make the circuit first. I have a resistor, I have a capacitor, I have an inductor as well, and then I have my battery. Okay. Resistor is of 20 ohm, capacitance is 25 and my inductor is 45 ohms. With 220, you need to find out the current and the phase angle. So first we will find out the phase angle and then we will find out the current. Now if you see very carefully, the same question has been asked in KCET as well. So it's very important, even if you're preparing for NEET, you do KCET questions and a bit of JEE Mains questions as well, because questions repeat directly in your examinations. Now let's solve the question. To find the phase angle, we will do tan phi. Tan phi is nothing but XL minus XC upon R. So what is my XL value? XL value is 45 minus 25, which is 20. 20 divided by 20. I am writing directly. Please solve it. 1. From here, tan phi is 1 at 45 degree. Phi is 45. So you see, from here at least 2 options are eliminated. It cannot be option A or option C. Either it can be B or D. Now let us solve for your current. Current by ohms, now we know V is equals to IZ. Z is impedance, which we need to find out now. So Z is equals to under root of, direct formula again, that is XL minus XC whole square plus R square. XL minus XC is 20. 20 plus 20, that will be 20 root 2. Substituting that here again, I equal to V by Z. 220 by 20 root 2. So that is 11 by root 2. 11 by root 2. Now children, trick to remember, you don't have to calculate small details here. Think about it. 11 by 12 cannot be 15.6. It's not possible because we are dividing 11. So the correct answer is option B. So that's how you save your time with solving correct answers. I hope it's clear. If you have doubts, do let me know in the comment section. Here is the 17th question, that is sun rotates around the center once in 27 days. What will be the period of revolution if the sun were to expand 2 times of its radius without any external force? Assume you have uniform density. Fine. Now when you see the question in first glance, you feel it is gravitation. But no. Children, it's not gravitation. It's definitely not gravitation. It is a question from rotational mechanics. And it is there to confuse you. That is the whole point of it. So in rotational mechanics, how do you put this? I know that my angular momentum will be constant. So putting your value of angular momentum constant means I omega is constant. So can I do I1 omega 1 equal to I2 omega 2? Yes, ma'am. Omega is nothing but 2 pi by T. So I'm substituting that. T1 and T2. Remove T1. Here 2 pi, 2 pi. Now, I of sphere is 2 by 5 m R1 square upon T1 equal to 2 by 5 m R2 square upon T2. Have they given us radius? Yeah. They told expand twice. So the second one is expanding twice initially. So 2 by 5, 2 by 5 first I will cancel, m and m is gone. So R1 square by 27 days, which is given to me, R2 is nothing but 2 times. So 4 R1 square by T1, T2. So T2 is what I need to find out. Again, this is gone. So T2 is 27 times 4. So what is 27 times 4? My answer will be 108 x. Easy. The major motto of this question is to confuse you through your chapter. So first you will think it is gravitation, you will start solving gravitation. Later you won't find the answer and you will skip the question. But it is not from gravitation, it is from rotational mechanics. How did I get to know it is from rotational mechanics? Because it is written without any external force. A model for quantized motion of an electron in a uniform magnetic field B states passing through the orbit is this. Okay. And E is a magnitude. According to the model, the magnetic movement of the electron at the lowest state is. It's a pure derivative question. The same derivation you have in your NCERT, which they have asked in NEET. Yes. So it's conceptual again. Let's try to solve. I know phi equal to NH, phi equal to B dot A, which is nothing but NH by E. I also know M is IA, which is nothing but E by P. When I take the ratio of this, I'll get NH by EM. And I'm taking the ratio of this and this. So, BA upon E T by A. A will get cancelled, E will automatically get cancelled. So, NH by M will be equal to TB. From this, I can get M equal to NH by TB. T I am substituting as 2 pi by R by V. Velocity by your distance. As it is a circle. So, 2 pi R B by B. But look at the options. Here are my options. My options are not in V. I don't have V here. And it is moving in a circular path. So, that first thing which comes to your mind is a circular motion. So, again we will be putting that F is equals to mv square by R. Centripetal force. QBB equal to mv square by R. I know my Q is my electron, so I can directly substitute here. Cancel your V and get your V value as EB by M R. Substitute this value here again. You will get NH EB by 2 pi R MR. So your correct answer would come as, the correct answer would come as NHE by 2 pi M. That is option B. So option B is the correct answer. Alright, so it's a pure derivative question. Pure derivative question. Okay. There's nothing theory to be learned here. My advice to you is, if you haven't prepared derivation, you don't have to solve them. Leave it as it is. We will do at the end of the examination. Okay, moving ahead to next question. Here is your next question. 3 identical heating conducting rods are connected in series. Okay. The rods on the sides have thermal conductivity 2K. Okay, here. While in the middle is K and in the end is your 2K. The left end of the combination is maintained at the temperature 3T and here it is mentioned T. So there is a temperature difference as well. The rods are thermally insulated from the outside. In steady state, the temperature at the left side junction T1 and the right side junction T2 is. So basically you need to find T1 is to T2. For this particular question, I will be just solving the conceptual part of it. The basic equation substitution you need to do at home. Alright. So what is the concept? We know a formula, H is equals to Ka delta T by L. Now, when I am going to teach you thermodynamics, I am going to focus more on this formula. Why? Because major questions are asked from this. Now, heat will be same in steady state. Heat will be same here also, here also, here also. Then only steady state can be attained. Now substituting your value. Here I have 2K. So 2Ka T. 3T minus T1. 3T minus T1 upon L equal to H2, which is K. So Ka T1 minus T2 upon L equal to Ka 2Ka T2 minus T upon L. Ka by L will cancel out everywhere. Then you will have 3 equations. You know exactly how to solve 3 equations. Solve them and you will get the answer as option C. Again, if you have any doubt in substitution method for equations, kindly let me know in the comment section. I will be available to reply all of them. Okay. Now let's move ahead to 20th question. Very important question, very famous question. It's asked almost every time, every question, every examination. Let's read it. The plates of parallel plate capacitor are separated by distance d. 2 slabs of different dielectrics are introduced. Okay. Due to this, the capacitance becomes 2 times larger. What you need to find out? You need to find out the value. When there is nothing in between, what is the value of it? Okay. So let me explain the basic concept to you guys first. So when you have only the capacitors, what is the formula? Epsilon naught A by D. Now what they did? They introduced dielectric constant K1 and K. This they told is at a distance, a thickness of 3 by 8D. And this is at a thickness of D by 2. So automatically here it will be D by 8. How, ma'am? How did you get that? If you sum up all this, you will get 1. So that's how you will get D by 8 there. They have also told that new capacitance is twice the older one. Now we are going to find it out. Now as it is in series, okay, as they have kept in series, what is the effective capacitance? 1 by CE equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. This is a basic formula which you all must know. Now we will substitute the value. For initially we have D by 2 epsilon naught A equal to, for 3D we have 3D by 8 epsilon naught A plus D for second one, that is D by 2 epsilon naught A K1, K2 as they have dielectrics, plus the final one does not have any dielectrics of 8 epsilon naught A. Now I have K1 and K2 here. So obviously I cannot solve. But relation is given to be K1 equal to 1.25 K2. So I'm going to just substitute that here and cancel out whatever I can. D by epsilon naught A will go in all the equations. Yes, ma'am. So 1 by 2 equal to 3 by 8 K1 plus, if I convert this into my decimal, it's a decimal, so if I convert it into fractional, I will get 5 by 8 K2 plus 1 by 8. Yes. Now solve this again. 1 by 2 minus 1 by 8 equal to 3 by 8 K1 plus 5 by 8 K2. So K1, K2. Here this is also K1. This is also K1 as we substituted it. So K1 value will come out to be somewhere around, this will be 5, 1, 16. So it will come out to be 2.66, correct. So option A is the right answer in this. Let's read the question first. Two cities X and Y are connected by a regular bus service. Okay, so there is X and Y, which is connected with a bus service, with a bus leaving either in T time. Okay, so what does this mean? There is a bus here which leaves, and when it reaches here, after T minutes, one more bus starts. Same that side also. A bus starts from here. When it reaches here, in T minutes, one more bus starts. Okay, ma'am. Next, a girl is driving a scooty with a speed of 60 km per hour in X to Y direction. So there is a scooty. So excuse my drawing. 60 km per hour. Okay. Now, yes, notices that the bus goes past her every 30 minutes in the direction of her motion. So here, after every 30 minutes, the bus is moving, and from that side, every 10 minutes. Okay, so this is the decode of the entire question. Choose a correct option. Okay, you need to tell about time and speed. Now, generally speaking, this question will take you nicely 2 minutes to read and decode it. Okay, even it took 2 minutes for us if you check back. Now, how to solve it? See, I'll tell you a very basic way of solving it. When your scooty is moving in this direction, whatever speeds will come from the opposite direction will always get added, and whatever comes from the same direction gets subtracted. That is the only concept there. Now putting it into the equations. Velocity of bus into time t, VB, I am doing from that for that side, so plus 60 into 10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes. Similarly, for this side also we can do VB into t equal to VB minus 60 into 30 minutes. Now I want you guys to solve the right hand side. You will get VB as 120 km per hour. Substitute this value back into the first equation. You will get your time as 15 minutes. Now guys, I'm not doing the substitution method because it's very easy. And I hope being a NEET aspirant, you need to learn how to substitute a equation properly. If you don't know, go back to your basics of maybe 8th, 9th, 10th and learn them and come back. Okay. So option D is correct. And still, if you have doubt, feel free to comment it. So this question is very numerical, but if you get it right, it's a free mark. A uniform rod of mass 20 kg and length 5 meter leans against a smooth vertical wall. If there's a wall here and your rod is resting something like this. Angle is also given, I think, making an angle 60 degree. Yes. The length of it is 5 meter. Okay, ma. Okay. Rough horizontal surface, which means there's friction also. Okay. The frictional force that exerts it. Okay, you need to find the frictional force itself. All right, ma. So now let us first break it down. Let me show you the components. You will have normal of this wall. So I'll write normal of wall. Then I will have normal of the floor as well. So I'll write normal of floor here. Then I will have mg downwards. So we will have mg also downwards. Any other force? Check it out. No. This is 90 degree. So this will be obviously 30 degrees. Anything else that we have to find out in this? No. So only this much decode you can do, this much breakdown you can do. Now moving to the calculation part. Right hand side will be equal to the left hand side. So NW should be equal to your friction and NF, that is normal of floor, should be equal to your mg. Okay. Now, as this rod is in equilibrium, your anti-clockwise rotation and clockwise rotation will be always same, will be equal because it is at rest, it is not moving, it's in equilibrium. So I can write my anti-clockwise torque will be equal to clockwise torque. That is nothing but F NW into 5 into sine 30 degrees equal to mg into 5 by 2 into sine 60. Now it is very simple, you just need to solve it. F equal to mg. Mg is given as, substitute your values quick. So mg is given as 20. Yes, 20 into 10 into 5 by 2 into 3 by 2 upon 5 into, so solve this, you will get your answer to be 100 root 3. That is option B is correct. I hope it's clear. Moving ahead to next question. Direct conceptual question. Okay, it is directly there in your NCERT. Same picture, same graph. The question is, in an oscillating spring mass system, a spring is connected to a box filled with a sand. Okay. As the box oscillates, the sand leaks slowly out of the box vertically, so that the average frequency omega t and average amplitude of the system changes with time, something like this. Which of the following options systematically depicts the changes correctly? Option A cannot be the option because your amplitude is straight. Option C also no. Option D also no. Option D is the right answer, which is mentioned in your NCERT. Yes, direct question, direct formula based question mentioned in your NCERT as well. So read your NCERT carefully. Now there's a trick for this question which I'm going to tell you. Okay, and it's a very important trick. So listen carefully. A balloon is made up of a material of surface tension S. S is the surface tension and its inflation outlet has the small area A. The hole has the area A basically. It is filled with a gas of density rho and radius r. When the gas is allowed to flow freely outside, its radius changes from r to 0 in time t. If the speed v of r of the gas is coming out, you need to tell, this is the relation, you need to tell alpha, beta and gamma value. This is a question directly from units and dimension, and hence it's very important you study that chapter. Usually students leave that chapter because thinking it's not of that much weightage, but it gives weightage. You have particular questions coming out of those chapter. So let us figure out now this. T is directly proportional to S alpha, A beta, rho gamma, R delta. Okay. So this will be, I'm writing in dimensional formula, M0 L0 T is directly proportional to surface area is M by T square alpha, area is L square, beta, rho is density, that is mass by volume, L cube rho, and R is simply L, delta. First we will calculate for M. So if you are calculating for M, M is here 0. So 0 is equal to alpha, no M here, plus gamma. So gamma is simply minus of alpha. Now go and see in your options. Where is gamma equal to minus of alpha? If you figure out and if you are lucky enough, that is the option. See, here A, okay, here alpha is half, gamma is plus, no. Minus, minus, no. Minus, plus, yes. Plus, plus 2. So option C is correct. We got the answer finally. Now see, these are the small tricks and smart ways of getting the answer quickly so that it can save your time. So you need to keep in mind. Now for example, you can ask me, ma'am, what if I don't have like this? Then beta, you need to solve beta, gamma and delta. You can't do anything. How will you solve it? Same. You need to equate it, put it back, substitution method. So that is it with this question. Very simple, very direct. It has been asked in your previous years as well. Yes, what is the question? Read. Okay, it's from your units and dimensions again. Consider the diameter of a spherical object being measured with the help of a vernier caliper. Suppose 10 is 10 BCD are equal to 9 mean square division and least count is 0.1 and 0, okay? And you have an error there. Okay. So, we need to find out the total reading. We have direct formula MSR plus LC into VC plus F. Now students, half of your problems from vernier caliber, only one formula is there in vernier caliber, which is this. And many problems can be solved from this. So it's important that you learn one formula which can be used in multiple questions. Alright, now let us try to put your values. MSR is 5, which is given to me, plus least count is 0.1, 10 divisions into 8. Error is positive error. So when it is a positive, because it is closed, so it is positive error. So when it is positive errors, we will take minus 0.1. So totally it will come as 5 plus 0.08 minus 0.1, which will come out to be 4.98 centimeter. Is it? Is there an option? Yes, definitely. Option C is correct. See, again, very simple. Just by one formula, you could solve an entire question. Moving ahead. 26th question. Now again, direct conceptual. Let's try to do it in less than 10 seconds. A parallel plate capacitor is made up of circular plates. It's being charged such that the surface charge density on the plates are increasing at constant rate. The magnetic field arising due to displacement is 0 at all plates? No. Constant between the plates and 0 outside the plates? No. 0 between the plates and non-zero outside? Definitely no. So option C is correct because non-zero everywhere with maximum at the imaginary cylinder spaces connecting peripheral. Okay. So option C is the right one. It's a direct question. Nothing to do much. Moving ahead to next question. That is 27. Read the question carefully. Again, it's very simple. Very conceptual based in fact. And unpolarized light beam traveling in an air is incident on a medium of diffractive index 1.73. At Brewster's angle is. So what is Brewster? What did Brewster tell? He told that if there is a reflecting surface and an incidental light, few of them gets refracted and reflected. So the one which is reflected is completely polarized. The one which is refracted is partially polarized. And I know this is the angle IB. We know Brewster's angle also told tan IB is mu. Mu is given to be 1.73 there in the question, which is close to root 3. So when is root 3? Root 3 is at 60 degrees. So IB turns out to be 60 degree. If IB is 60 degree, IR is also 60 degree. Now let's see the options. Reflected light is completely polarized. Yes. And at an angle 60 degree. Correct, definitely. Reflected light is partially polarized and the angle between the reflection is 30. No. Both reflected and transmitted light are perfectly polarized. No. Transmitted light is completely polarized with an angle of refraction close to 30. No. So option A is the right answer. Again, very simple, very easy questions. Direct concept formula based. Let's read the question. It is from electrostatic, which is one of my favorite chapters. Two identical charge conducting spheres A and B have their centers separated by a distance D. Okay. charge on each sphere is q, which is repulsion. So we have two charges q and q at a distance d. So we know that force will be kq by r square. Now let's read the, or d square, d square. A third identical uncharged conducting sphere is brought in contact with A. So when I take a charged sphere and bring in contact with this, it will have half charge q by 2. Then first with A, then they have brought in contact with B also. If I take the same charge, I'll take it out, it has q2, I'll give it to that. It will be what? It will be q minus q2 by 2. So that is nothing but 3q by 4. So this charge will be 3q by 4 at a distance again same d. So we need to find the relation, right? Yeah, we need to find the relation between that. Now here F will be k q by 2 into 3q by 4 upon d square. So k q square by d square is F, which is left is 3 by 8, so 3 by 8. So do we have an option? 3f by 8. Yes, option D is the right answer. Very easy. Yes, very fun to do this type of questions. A container has two chambers, volumes 2 liter and 3 liter, separated by a partition. Okay, the chambers have N1 and N1 as 5, N2 as 4 moles. Pressures are also given. When the partition is removed, you need to tell what is the equilibrium pressure. Oh, first we will find the total volume. Total volume is V1 plus V2. That is 2 plus 3, which will give me 5 liters. Total moles also we will do. Because when I remove my partition, my volume and moles will get added up. That's why I am adding now itself. N1 plus N2 is 5 plus 4. So that is 9 moles. Now let's come to our ideal gas equation, that is PV by RT will be equal to P1 V1 by RT plus P2 V2 by RT. As it is maintaining at the same temperatures, we will remove R and T. We will be left with PV equal to P1 plus V1 plus P2 V2. So P will be equal to P1 V1 plus P2 V2 upon V. Now let us solve this. Pressures are given to you. Yes, ma'am. 1 into 2 plus 2 into 3 upon total volume is 5. Do this, you will get your answer. So that is 2 plus 6. 6, 7, 8. 8 by 5. 8 by 5 is 1.6. So 1.68 km is the right answer. Easy, simple. Just in 2 steps you can do it. Read the question carefully. Again, this is very simple. It looks tough. It is simple. A particle of mass m is moving around the origin with a constant force F, pulling it towards the origin. If the Bohr model is used to describe its motion, the radius of the nth orbit will be, you tell the relation. So, first of all, I know my, it is moving in centripetal force, right? So, F is equals to mv square by r. Okay, this I know. And I also know that Bohr gave me angular momentum, that is L equal to mvr, which is nothing but nh by 2 pi. So here I can get V value, that is nh by 2 pi mr. I will substitute this back into this. So what I will get? F equal to m by r, n square h square 4 pi square m square r square. Be very careful with whatever powers you are doing here, because the answer is in powers. That's why. Now I will try to calculate r cube is equal to, in r cube this side, put f that side. mm will anyways go. N square x square upon 4 pi square. mm gets cancelled, so m. Now all the values are constant except n. So we get from here r is directly proportional to n to the power 2 by 3. See your options. See, you have only one option, that is option C. So we know that option C is correct. But let me show you how you will calculate V also. So you will take this and put back into this. So I know V is that proportional to n by r. V is directly proportional to n by n to the power 2 by 3. Put it up, 1 minus 2 by 3 will give you 1 by 3. So option C is correct. Most of the time you will get the answer by just doing one step, but for your understanding I did the next step as well.